you have any that you've seen or that you use to really create fun among teams?
Yeah, I think humor and camaraderie are essential parts of the team, especially one that is high functioning, high stress, high risk environments. I think of the military, I think of the ICU, I think of critically ill children. I think in that you need to have some element of humor and fun just to keep everyone sane, but you have
Yeah.
to do it correctly. It can't be done in a time where it detracts from the focus or the serious nature of it, but it's got to be in a time where it sort of brings the team together. And I think that is just so important.
I mean, as I've thought about what you do, right? So some of the people that are listening may have some understanding of what pediatric cardiac anesthesia is, but for those who don't, I mean, Justin's major skill set and job a lot of times is to be the person who takes a child whose heart is malformed and often extraordinarily malformed with very delicate, what we call physiology. So a lot of room for screwing up and things going wrong. And his job is to take that child and to administer anesthesia to be able for that child to undergo congenital heart surgery, extraordinarily complex and lengthy procedures. So he's got to put that kid to sleep, keep the kid alive during about as traumatic of a physiologic event as one could possibly have, and wake them back up so that they're in a normal situation. So it doesn't get much more high stakes in my mind, okay, than that. And yet here you are, right, saying, yeah, fun is really, really important for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime I've talked to somebody that works in the ICU, in the operating room, in the emergency room, they all use humor. I don't want to say as a defense mechanism, but a way to sort of cope with a lot of those situations. And I think
Mhm.
using it in leadership is no different. One thing we haven't talked about that I think is worth is knowing your own blind spots. You sort of said you know your own leadership style, but also your sort of blind spots in your leadership style. If you are someone who is ultra competitive in sports, you probably shouldn't take your team out to play a game of flag football in that you will be tackling people and you don't have like, you know what I mean? Like knowing your
Yeah,
own blind spots of like, okay, I know that when I start ribbing on people, I can go too far. So, okay, I'm
yeah,
not going to do that. That is not going to be part of my leadership style. I know that I don't do well when playing board games and I'm the person who flips over Monopoly at the end and says, I quit. Maybe you shouldn't have that as your part of your leadership style. But knowing your own sort of characteristics, like you're saying, you know, in your own leadership style, maybe, and trying to incorporate fun in a way that really, like you said, and this really hits home, that is authentic, that is who it really gives them insight into who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, and really helps to solidify the team. Because, like we talked about in previous episodes, if you try to fake it, people will know. Like it's just something they can smell, something they
yeah,
can see. And if you're not being authentic, even when you're trying to inject humor and fun, it won't work. Just won't
yeah,
work.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think with all of leadership, the things that we talk about, that authenticity is vital. Um, so, I think that's something that we can continuously reinforce for ourselves and for our listeners. You know, you gotta play within your capabilities,
Mm,
not what somebody else's capabilities are. There's certain people, you know, like I have a friend, dear friend, Brian Ebel, okay? And you know Brian. And Brian is
mhm.
one of those people that just is an extraordinarily likable person, okay? And he's very like he's really exceptionally good with kids, and so I'm thankful that he's a pediatric cardiologist and he's great with families. And he is able to do a lot of things that I don't do as well. But I can't play to Brian's strengths. I have to play to my strengths and vice versa. Right. So the same comes with fun. It's got to be, I mean, if you're doing something that you think is not fun, you're not going to be fun doing it. And then that's going to make it not fun for everybody.
Mhm.
Right. So it's got to be something that you enjoy doing. But as you say, recognizing your limitations. If you're that hyper competitive person, then maybe you need to steer clear of those sorts of events or things. If you are somebody who the sarcasm knob can get turned up really quickly and be piercing and things of that nature, probably want to avoid that. But there are a lot of different things that other folks can do, you know. So I think I agree with you. I think that's really important. There was this idea that came to my mind, and I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I want to come back to it just because things aren't going to be fun all the time. There are going to be times that just aren't fun, right? I mean, if for you, it's that kid who surgery didn't go well. they're going on to ECMO or whatever or here's a kid with acute fulminant myocarditis, and you're trying to do something, and you know that this is I'm going to intubate this kid. This is going to go south, right? Like the odds of it going south are really high, right? That's not fun. Those times are not fun. Everybody's stressed to the max. It's not fun. Those episodes will come, and they may come in waves. They may come intermittently. They may come rarely, but they will come, and there will be times of challenge and hardship when life and our leadership just aren't fun. But I think those crucibles are overcome through the relationships, that trust, that camaraderie, the esprit de corps that we talked about. When we've built that up beforehand through the fun, through the relationship, then that makes us able to get through those crucibles. So in a sense, as we're forming those relationships, and as we've discussed throughout this episode, fun is an essential part of that. As we're forming those relationships, it's in my mind, it's kind of like dropping some money in your piggy bank, right? You're
Mhm.
putting money in the bank so that when the crucible comes and it's not fun whatsoever, you can fall back on, hey, we've built the relationships, and we can keep moving forward together. So I think that's a really important point, and I think that's how great teams achieve greatness.